Oh, I love you too. Okay, are we there?
Yep.
Okay.
You separated us.
I did. You okay?
Well, that's making the outtake real.
Hard cider is one of the oldest and most honored drinks known to man. For centuries, hard cider was brewed and the process was perfected in Europe. In 1620, when the Mayflower sailed for the New World, they carried apple seeds and a large cider press with them. In fact, in a storm, a large beam cracked on the Mayflower, and it was secured in place with a large iron screw of the cider press until they got to the New World. Right away, apple trees were planted, and hard cider became the health food drink of choice. The creek and river water had giardia and was not to be trusted. Everyone, including the children, drank hard cider and stayed alive. Those that drank it were protected from food poisoning and parasites like giardia. The cider I am making today is a very basic recipe that anybody can make. There is much more that can be done to make hard cider that produces differing results. It is up to you to build on this basic recipe to make what is best according to your taste. Have fun and brew on.
The first thing that you got to make sure of when making hard cider, or anything for that matter, is cleanliness. You'll notice a little bit of fog on this jug. That's because I cleaned it with really hot water, because if you don't clean them and get them really clean, then whatever's in there, the alcohol is going to rip it right off the sides, and man, is it going to change the way things taste. So what I have here is a clear glass bottle. I did this on purpose so that we could watch the process really carefully as we go through it. It's 1 gallon, 1 U.S. gallon. I'm going to fill it about to here so there's room for the stuff to work. So I got a little tiny funnel. Let's fill this thing up. Now this is fresh squeezed apple cider. I bought it from a local vendor that has it, he squeezes it right there in the barn and sells it right out of the barn on the honor system. You just go in there and put your money in the box and get your gallon and carry on about your business. But it's fresh enough. It's squeezed in one room and sold in the room next to it. So it's pretty much the real deal, you know. I mean, it's the ingredients on the label says apple juice. So that's all that's in there is apple juice. There we go. That's just about the right amount right there. That gives this a chance, you know, the yeast and stuff a chance to work and maybe foam up a little bit. The cider I'm using is from Cider Orchards up in Skagit County, not too far from Mount Vernon, Washington State. Hey, now the next thing you want to do is get your cork ready. I've got this little trap here and a cork with a hole in it. I'm going to stuff the cork, the trap in the cork and have that set aside here ready. Now I'm going to set this up here out of the way. I have a small cup. I have some warm water, not hot, warm. I'm going to pour just a little bit in this little tiny dish. Now I'm going to take my Red Star Premium Blanc Active Dry Yeast. You got to keep in mind this package is enough yeast for a 5-gallon carboy, and we're only doing a gallon, so we're not going to need a whole lot of it. I'm going to put a little bit of it in this thing of warm water I have here. A little bit more. Well, this should start working here pretty soon because warm water activates yeast. Okay, now we have the activated yeast. We pour it in. Take just a little tiny bit more juice and rinse that out of there. You can't tell yet, But the magic has begun. You take your cork, you stuff it down in there. There's one thing you don't want is air getting back down in here. Pull the top off your trap, take some more water. Fill it right up there. There's a little line on here. It gives it room to bubble without making a mess. Snap your top back on it. And now the important thing is to, wherever you set this to work, it's got to be somewhat warm. And within a day or two, we'll know if the yeast took. Might even know today, but we'll keep an eye on it. And if the yeast don't work, I've got more. I can light it off again. All right, there we go. Now we get to watch it, see how it goes. Finally, it's been like 2.5 weeks since I started this, and it's just now starting to clarify. I mean, you can see the difference here in the color. It's kind of hard through the plastic here, but this is just like a kind of a cloudy yellowish color, and this is starting to clarify and stuff settling in the bottom. The bubbling is stopped up here. That means all of the sugars in this have been consumed by the yeast and turned into alcohol. So now this is really hard cider. Now I must warn you, I have never done this before. That's right, I have never done it before. This is strictly what I found offline. I am no expert at this. So this could be the worst stuff on earth because we have not even pulled the cork out and tried it. So we have a little bit of the original unfermented apple cider, you know, from Cedardale Orchards. Really kind of a cool place. It's all organic. As I pointed out before, 100% natural juice, and then the ingredients says apple juice. So there's nothing added to it. Now this was a health food drink back in the day. So let's give it a shot. Let's see if we can get healthy and see how we like it. So let's start.
I'm terrified.
Here, take care of this. Gently set it aside.
Ooh, pretty.
Because, I'll just dump it out. Not there, in the sink. Just put it in the sink.
Ooh,
I'm scared.
Of course you're scared.
You don't
So,
drink.
I don't want to do this just on my opinion, so I brought along the nerd and I brought along his wife, his beautiful wife. So, what we're going to do, how he got a beautiful wife, I don't know. But that's a whole nother video. But let's pour each of us a glass.
Okay.
This may be just completely undrinkable because I am not an expert here.
Smells good. Smells like wine.
I am no expert. So, obviously in the comments, if any of you have any hints on how to do this better, then by all means let me know. So what we're going to do now is we're going to taste it. I have a feeling this is going to be very, very dry. So let's find out. Let's get, we're going to start with Candace, and then with Josh, and then finally I'll try it. And if it's too dry, we've got the apple juice we can add to it to sweeten it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. But this is definitely hard cider.
Bottoms up. Mmm. Nummy.
Oh no, I think I've created a monster.
That's actually really good.
All right.
I'm scared now.
All right.
Now I'm really scared.
Mommy pipe.
Now for the nerd. Okay, now this is a guy who doesn't like things that are got alcohol in them as a rule. I think the only thing he's ever had was some peppermint chocolate frou-frou drink, you know. When it comes to something real like this, I'm not sure. He might not be able to put it down.
I kind of like the blended margarita, and yes, I know that's bad.
That is bad. That's almost as bad as a guy liking a pina colada. So, go for it.
It's okay except for the alcohol.
It's okay except for the alcohol.
It tastes really good up until the alcohol hit me. Like,
Poor baby.
Okay, give him a little bit of the straight apple juice in there, just to sweeten it up a little.
it was really good until then.
Okay, now try it.
And you spill it.
Is that better?
Yeah. Much
Yeah.
better.
So you needed it sweetened up. That's all.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Not so sure about this.
It's actually really good.
Not bad. I actually expected it to be a little sharper than this.
No, it's yummy.
This is.
It definitely has a wine taste to it.
Well, yeah, it's hard cider. Well, it sure beats prison Pruno.
Whatever the heck that is.
Well, good. I'm glad you've never been in prison. It is strong. I can guarantee you that. So if you're really, really in need of a period drink for like if you're going to a rendezvous or a Civil War reenactment or anything like that, and you need to have something that's period correct, this is what you need right here, and it's cheap to make. We put, I for the apple juice for a gallon it cost me $6, and you can go a little less expensive than that. If you go to the discount stores, you can get it for about $4.50 a gallon. You can also use the apple juice that comes frozen and mix it with water. Just use some good quality water, because if you use nasty water, you're going to get a nasty drink. So use like some spring water, filtered water, what have you. And wow, this is good.
I know, right?
And then you can make it, and then the yeast, for 5 gallons worth of yeast, to make 5 gallons of this is only like less than $1. It's like 90 some cents for the yeast. I use champagne yeast because it's wintertime.
That explains why it smells like wine.
Yeah, well, champagne yeast in the wintertime because it can work at a lower temperature. And it was only like 70 degrees, 65, 70 where I was making it. So the cork and the trap and the yeast together at the winemaking store only cost $4.50. And then the jug I bought at a secondhand store for $3.50, I think. So you're really not talking a lot of money in equipment, and you can have some really good stuff. And I'm telling you what, I've had that much, and I can feel it.
Me too. I bet they'll drink Josh's.
Yeah, but
Probably should.
so I mean, it's not bad, and it's quite strong, and so it's going to take me a while to drink this gallon.
I'll help.
I'm sure you will. So get your stuff and get your brew on. Now remember, drink responsibly, don't drink and drive, and everyone in this video was over 21 and legally allowed to drink this stuff. So there's been no illegal stuff going on here. I know my daughter-in-law and my son look like they just got out of high school, but they're a little older than that. So they're plenty old to drink, and so am I, in case you hadn't noticed.